What are some lessons we can learn from our Gedanken experiment? Well, lessons revolve around how schedule relates to uncertainty, risk, and return on investment. Uncertainty affects your ROI. When uncertainty is low, ROI is a nice calculation, right? Project X months costs Y dollars, we yield Z dollars of revenue, look at current interest rates, we can do a net present value calculation, maybe an internal rate of return calculation, and this tells us whether or not this project is worth funding compared to that project. Those calculations assume that you can make calculations that have any connection to reality whatsoever, and sometimes you can, but when uncertainty is high, ROI isn't a matter of weighing careful formulas against each other. It's a gamble, because your project might not finish at all. Right? Oops, it was late by a factor of 3, and the company went out of business. Money might disappear. We are in the tire business. But a year into this project, we've been bought, and now we're going to sell rearview mirrors. Customer interests can change. You know, the last year's best-selling pet rock has been reborn now as gravel. So uncertainty isn't a matter of tweaking formulas like this. Uncertainty is a very basic question. It's a high risk of wasting the entire investment. It's not between succeeding with a return of 50% versus 20%. It's a risk of getting nothing back at all and wasting huge sums of money, as Michael's example showed. Well, we'd rather not do that, so let's think about how we deal with uncertainty. We can start by reducing risk. So think of this visit your doctor. Doc, my back hurts and lift heavy weights. What should I do? Doc says lift smaller weights. So one lesson, don't make a few big investments over long periods and expect big returns, because there may be no returns and you may lose all of your investment. Also, speed up delivery of value. Make small investments for short periods to get small returns. Why? Because risk is smaller with small investments. When you lose things, you lose less, and the loss is less painful. Over small time periods, uncertainty is reduced. Uncertainty over the next month for me is much smaller than uncertainty over the next year for me. And the same is true for projects and businesses and so forth. So you get less time and less scope for problems. Flexibility is greater. If I make decisions more or less on a 1-month basis, then I'm not building my entire life around the entire next 12 months going the way I expect. So it's easier to change direction. Again, large projected return on investment is worthless if the project ever completes, so it's better to deliver some value soon than risk large value never. Deliver increments of value as soon as possible. So early return on investment in pieces is better than a big ROI at the end. Think about that. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have $1,000 10 months from now, or would you rather have $100 a month for the next 10 months? With maybe a chance of not getting any of the $1,000. And maybe getting half of the 1,000 if you get it 5 months at a time. When you put it that way, it's pretty obvious, right? You'd rather have the money sooner, because you're going to invest that money. You'll get interest on it. And for that matter, you may get it at all. So delivering incremental value as you go is a much more economically viable way to run a project. The objection to this is usually, well, it's less efficient. That's true, but it's almost never the case that efficiency is all that important, because efficiency later is usually not as important as value soon.